Masterminds, happy Monday. I wish you an awesome start to your week and for the rest of the week. Wanted to drop in for a session as Sammy's back tomorrow afternoon. In this session, I want to go through really my thoughts on current market conditions, strategies. I'll certainly answer Chris's question. And I've been going through doing a ton of work for the Koh Samui event at the end of the month. And there's just so much golden stuff that we'll be covering off specifically around the mindset, which to me, the difference between a successful investor and one that knows they should do the actions but potentially don't do them in alignment with what they should do or should be doing, it's really themselves as the blocker, right? So it's helping you to overcome what am I doing right now that isn't serving me well? How has this impacted me in the past, which is typically tied to a story, right? And then what can I do in the future to make sure that I'm realigned to the outcome that I actually want? And what will the future look like for me when I do go through that shift and change? And then it's committing to which path that you want to walk down. And it's really like the actions, you know yourselves that tuning into the Monday market updates, the altcoin Bible, the Friday sessions that Sammy and I run, the bi-weeklies, all these things are what at this such pivotal time of market is going to lead you to the best outcome possible. And then showing up for yourself, showing up in the mastermind synergy sessions as well, and really engaging and doing the preparation work for those, etc. So there's just so much opportunity for you guys to really live an incredible life here, which is based on the inputs and therefore the outcomes that you achieve, and really aligning to the outcomes first. So that's really the core of what I've been focusing my morning around, just building that out for the Samui session. But wanted to share some high level insights with you as to a couple of the things that we'll be covering off, because this to me is what is the difference between being super successful in cryptocurrency and not. So let's jump into the markets. Obviously, we've just had the weekly close 20 minutes ago, which is great. So we'll be able to come in and assess a bit of the data and see what's going on here, what's happening, what's working, what's not working, and other cryptos of interest, which I know that there's a few on my target list which have been slowly creeping up, and I've been paying a lot more attention to. So we had an incredible week. Wow. Absolutely flying for Bitcoin. We got back into this really nice range up here, which is really above the 10 on the weekly. This cloud that I drew, I wanted us to get a close above this level. I thought that there may be a close above the 10, but at the top, just under resistance still. But no, we broke well clear through that, which is great. And that is really on the back of the data that's coming out, as you guys know, in 2 days and 17 hours now. The cuts are already being priced in. I think the probability, it was 90% the other day when I had a look. And if this wants to load, then I suspect it will be slightly higher. Now 96.4%. So we're going to get a cut, and it's going to be 0.25 with the highest probability, which is fantastic. A lot more consistent and easier for the market to digest rather than such an aggressive cut. And then the probability of a further 0.25 in October, and then a further 0.25 in December. That would be smooth sailing. That would be altcoin season. And I think we'd be looking fantastic at that point. Just be aware there may still be some short-term volatility here. We may still see a triggering of the lower levels, which would really be that max pain area down to the lower side, where there's still huge liquidation. So if we get down to these levels, that's 3.86 billion. Even further down to these lower regions of 106, 4.78 billion. And then on the other side, you can see there's a lot of leverage piling in up to the 120 region, which is actually reduced, but that's the short liquidation level, so 2.73. So there's a lot more pain if the market can be tapped into this liquidity before a reversal. This was a lot larger. I shared the post the other day, and I've seen that a lot of the positions must have been closed because there's just not that much leverage as what it was showing, which was 7 billion the other day. So interesting to always look at the data and keep up to date with the data. There's a piece of information that can come out and all of a sudden you might change your approach. But here it's clear that there is still a very high downside potential to that 106 region. So that goes to answer the question that I know, Chris, you had around where did I go wrong with Solana. So I think number one, you didn't go wrong, and we have to kind of let ourselves go of that mentality and that way of thinking, because it can be really disabling for us and makes us not feel that good within ourselves. As you all know, the actions that you take are based upon how you feel, and if you feel good, then you'll always take good quality action. So it's about tuning yourself into making sure that you feel good all the time. And that really comes through the way that you talk to yourself, the way you think about yourself, the actions, etc., that you do that are in alignment with your higher self. And that's where we want to make sure that we're focused our attention and energy and not being so sucked into I went wrong and what could have I done differently. I think the key thing is I had this area blockage overhead. That once we cleared that, then it looked like we potentially had a continuation. And the week, as you can see, can get away from you very quickly. This 220 level, I also have pegged in that when we flip that, then we change our approach. So that is really what this is about. You don't have one downside target. You have, if this happens, then I will do X, Y, Z. So start building your position again back into the market, and then you could be a lot more aggressive as we started to really hit those higher levels. And that's it. It's just being agile, not wanting the market to go either way to the downside or to the upside, just playing what is. And if the market looks overheated, then cool, you can do something about it. If you think there's still going to be a pullback, then wait for confirmation of something to break before that happens. You can front run stuff, but that's speculation. And it's the same as when people say, like the market's going to 150, 180, and all these things. I'd rather wait for, sure, I can start to release some profits on the way up if we get to those really elevated levels. But I'd want to make sure that the data is telling me that we're at those elevated levels and there's not potential for a downside. It's like there is a downside coming because of all this information here, and these key levels that have just been lost, etc. So that's just the different approach that I would recommend. Having that open mind that if certain things are lost or broken, then you need to shift in the approach. So hopefully that helps, mate. I know there were some insights there which were great.